My name's Jake Callahan, and if there's one thing I've learned from living on my family's land for 40-some years, it's that peace ain't quite its end. This ranch, tucked between the scrub hills and wind-carved ridges of eastern Wyoming, has been in my blood since before indoor plumbing was a thing out here. 65 acres, half rock, half stubborn pasture, and a whole lot of heritage. My grandfather broke ground here with mules and sweat. My dad held onto it through wildfires and foreclosures. And now it's mine. It ain't polished, but it's real. The crown jewel of my operation, though, isn't a piece of machinery or a crop rotation plan, it's Boone. Boone is a bull, but calling him that feels like calling a tornado wind. He's the descendant of a legendary line of Herfords, going all the way back to Samson, a prize bull my granddad bought in '57 who made the front page of AG Chronicle with a face like a Roman emperor. Boone got his size from him, and his temper from me. He's big, proud, and doesn't take crap from anybody. Now, things were good until they moved in. A subdivision called Juniper Meadow Estates, which sounds harmless until you realize it's basically a group of overpaid HOA zealots wrapped in khaki pants and superiority. They slapped up their prefabs, brought in the fake turf, and crowned themselves rulers of the zip code. And leading their little monarchy was one Cynthia Blake, HOA president, former city council dropout, and self-declared enemy of unsightly agricultural encroachment. Yeah, that's what she called my farm. At first, it was letters. Real polite. Concerns about barn odors, inquiries about livestock noise, even one saying my red barn was a visual disruption to the cohesive aesthetics of the community. I laughed, threw in the wood stove, and went on with my chores. But Cynthia didn't like being ignored. She showed up in person one Saturday morning, in white capris and a clipboard, asking to inspect my property line for potential code alignment. I told her the only alignment she needed was with the edge of my driveway heading back out. That should have been it. But Cynthia didn't back off. She started patrolling the east boundary of my land at night, said her neighborhood watch rotation gave her legal authority. I handed her a signed plat map from the county, showed her exactly where my fence sat. She stared at it like it was written in Sanskrit, then mumbled something about special expectations. Boone, standing behind me like a furry war machine, let out a deep, slow exhale that rattled her nerves so hard she nearly tripped walking away. A few days later, my motion sensor lights flared up at 2:18 a.m. I opened the app, and what do I see? Some idiot cargo pants, HOA windbreaker scaling my 6-foot fence with all the grace of a drunk possum. He drops into Boone's paddock. 10 seconds later, Boone lifts his head and gives this low, guttural growl that could bend metal. The man freezes. Then from the corner of the screen a monitor figure appears, half falling over the fence. "Rick. Where the hell are you?" she whispers. "It's Cynthia." "Of course it is." She lands directly into a steaming pile of fresh bull manure. The camera caught everything there: shrieking, Boone's intimidation dance, Cynthia's high-pitched scream when Boone did a mock charge that sent mud and, well, other substances flying all over her. I was on the barn roof sipping coffee, hitting record, playing a preloaded police scanner loop over the loudspeaker. Code 47 in progress. Trespass in livestock zone. Remain on site. They bolted like squirrels on fire. 3 days passed. I figured I'd embarrassed her enough to earn some peace. Instead, she came back. Dressed like she was headed to a real estate gala, she knocked on my door holding a manila envelope. "I'd like to discuss a resolution," she said with a sugary smile that didn't reach her eyes. Inside was a check $20,000 and a non-disclosure agreement. She wanted me to delete the footage, move Boone to the back of the property, and sign a paper saying we'd cooperate with aesthetic integrity initiatives. I slid the check back and told her the only integrity I respected came with hoofs. Then things got dark. I found a second feed bucket near the eastern fence, far from the usual trough. Boone hadn't touched it. Smelled funny sweet, but chemical. My vet, old Doc Kinney, tested it. Jake, he said, voice flat. If he'd eaten this, he'd be dead in 2 hours. No question. I stood in that barn, staring at Boone like he'd just dodged an assassin. Because that's what this was. It wasn't a prank. It was attempted murder. I filed a police report that day: trespassing, attempted animal cruelty, destruction of property. I didn't have video proof, but I had tracks, tire marks, and motive as thick as two. Next came the smear campaign. Flyers on every mailbox, dangerous livestock alert. Photoshopped images of Boone with glowing red eyes. A community vote on whether to demand his removal or get this legal euthanasia. For Boone, the living embodiment of this ranch's legacy. I was livid. And I wasn't the only one. Hank, the HOA maintenance guy, handed me one of the flyers quietly. She made us print he muttered. Then, the gift arrived. No return address. Just a USB in my mailbox. I plugged it into the old laptop and there it was, an audio file of a secret HOA board meeting. Cynthia's voice, no mistake, laying out her entire plan. Manipulating zoning laws, hiring outside contractors, discussing Boone as a problem to be neutralized. It was enough to make a preacher curse. That same week, Ricky, the HOA treasurer quiet guy, never made eye contact, called me from a burner number. Said he had GPS logs, tampered maps, and altered invoices. We met behind the old grain silo, like it was a spy movie. He handed me a manila envelope thicker than my calf's winter coat. Inside, every smoking gun I needed. I spent 48 hours in a lawyer's office. We filed suit. Harassment, fraud, conspiracy, attempted animal cruelty. I was done playing defense. The courtroom was packed. Cynthia sat like a gargoyle in a pantsuit, jaw clenched, eyes darting. When the audio played, she cracked. That man and his monster humiliated me, she yelled. He made me look like a fool. The judge didn't blink. You did that to yourself, MS. Blake. Verdict. I won. Nearly $1 million in damages. Full injunction against Cynthia and the HOA. Criminal charges pending. HOA dissolved within the month. Now, Boone's a local hero. There's a sign at the gate that reads, private property. Bull Unchained. Owner 2. People take selfies in front of it. A craft brewery's putting his face on a label. Kids draw him in school with superhero capes. And every time I walk the pasture, I look at him and say, we did it, old boy. He just nods and chews, calm as a monk in a thunderstorm. Some folks fight for land, others for justice. Me. I fought for both. And thanks to one honorable who refused to budge, we won more than a lawsuit. We won the right to exist without apology.